So apparently, the French people and the French members of parliament are now so much concerned that they are losing influence in Africa, and they now fear that they are going to starve, according to the latest news. 94 ministers from all parties in the French parliament have called upon President Emmanuel Macron to clarify his position on the Sahara amid concern over France's diminishing influence in Africa. This came in a letter drafted by the Morocco-France Friendship Group and published a few days ago by the French newspaper Le Figaro, questioning Macron on France's role in Africa. The letter cites a laundry list of countries that have rejected France or French forces and French companies, such as Niger, Mali, the Central African Republic, and Burkina Faso. It highlights the danger of the increased presence of the Wagner mercenaries. Basically, these mercenaries are said to be unconcerned about human rights or democracy, but perfectly aligned with all dictators or leaders who maintain power by uniting their populations against the old colonial power, or basically France. It goes on to describe French disappointments in North Africa, remarking that Algeria's president Abdelmajid Tebboune blows hot and cold, sometimes speaking of rapprochement and an official visit, and other times calling France the great Satan or the great Satan, responsible for all the evils of the Algerian people. Now, let's pause there. First of all, before I even start discussing why they wrote this letter and why they are complaining, let's look at Algeria first. When the Algerian people were fighting the French for independence, they lost 1.5 million people. So 1.5 million people back then were killed. At the time, Algeria had about 20 million people in its population. So 1.5 million people was a huge number. Almost every family in Algeria lost someone. So that's how bad it was. You know, a lot of time we talk of how Africans fought the colonial power. We talk of Mau Mau in Kenya. We talk of the struggle in South Africa. We talk of the struggle in Guinea. But we forget how Algeria fought and lost 1.5 million people trying to drive the French out of their country. So definitely I understand why the Algerian president sometimes calls France the Satan, you know, and the source of all the problems in Algeria. You would understand that. And then let's go back to now the reason why some of French companies are being rejected in Africa. Take, for example, that company that mines uranium in Niger. Areva, that is the company, dumps toxic uranium material in the deserts of Niger, poisoning the water and the environment there. They also are supposed to be paying about 20 billion euros every year to Niger. But all that money is never paid. As a matter of fact, less than 3 billion euros gets back to Niger. So they are underpaid for their uranium. So that is exploitation. So why would Niger or people from Niger, Nigerians, love such a company? Why would they want it around? It has never changed their situation from, poverty to developed. So why would they still love it? And then I don't have to talk about other companies like the Total Energy in Africa and how they have been exploiting countries. Take Gabon, for example, a country of less than 2 million people. It's the second largest crude oil producer in Africa, behind Nigeria. It produces more crude oil than even, Angola. But this country, the people there, those less than 2 million people, are poor. The only rich people in Gabon are the leaders, the dictator there, the Omali Bongo there. And then you go to Equatorial Guinea, the same thing. You go to Congo Brazzaville, the neighboring of the other Congo. They discovered oil. They've been exporting oil, but the people in that country are still poor. So that's how Total Energy exploits Africa. So the French members of parliament are acting as if they don't know what is happening here. They are so concerned that they are looting, thieving companies and governments are being kicked out of Africa. And so now they are so concerned that they want the president to commit that he's going to invade those countries.